In the end, we are happy with the point, but of course we want to have a better result. But I think also that today was not our best game. First half was disappointed, and I think the second half was a little bit better. At the moment when they scored, they dropped a little bit back. It gave us a lot of more space and chances to get more forward. In the end, you can be happy with a point, but it is what it is. There is also an opponent. They are very strong. They have good results at home, so it's not easy to win here a game. They defend well. They pressed us also in a different way than the first game. I think we needed to play out better from the back. There was a lot of space to come in the middle of the pitch, in the middle of the park. We didn't do that well. I think the second half was a lot better, but you also can see their strength is also defending. So in the end, what I already said before, I was happy with the point, but also happy with all the subs. You can really see that we also can play in a little bit of another way. How we changed the game like 2-3 times in the second half. So that is also good to see, and I think we put a lot of pressure on them.
Estos son los resultados. El Castelló va a empatar a 1 en casa del Atlético de Madrid B. Salutacions molt bona nit, sigueu tots benvinguts a aquest programa de Televisió de Castelló, la tribuna del Castelló, per a parlar-vos d'aquest empat i que el Castelló continua líder, continua el més amunt en la taula classificatòria on comanda aquesta taula empatat amb l'Eivissa amb 53 punts, ojo perquè li trau 11 punts ja al Màlaga i a l'Algeciras, una autèntica aberració. Li trau quasi una vintena de punts. És aberrant el que està fent el Castelló. Si algú es pensava que el Castelló a aquestes dates podia arribar amb aquests números, jo l'haguera tratat de boig. Segurament els bojos, algun d'ells estan així en aquesta taula. Comencem aquesta tertúlia de la tribuna de Castelló i comencem amb convidats molt especials i comencem contents. Parlarem de moltes coses. Parlarem de la classificació, parlarem de l'equip, parlarem, evidentment, de fitxatges i parlarem amb Bob. Comencem. Comencem aquest programa i fem les presentacions ja oportunes. Bob Voulgaris, good night. Welcome a Televisió de Castelló.
Gracias.
You are happy, como Dick?
Happy with Dick or happy
with the result as Dick
for the result?
Yeah, I think same attitude for me. Of course, it's always nice to win, and I don't think it was our best game. But at the end of the day, I was happy that we got a 1 point versus 0 in this situation was better after the first half. So.
La faig en castellà, ¿vale?
Sí.
Vale, la misma actitud para mí, siempre está bien ganar, pero al final no fue nuestro mejor partido y al final en estas situaciones es mucho mejor sumar un punto que 0.
Darte las gracias, Bob, por venir a Televisión de Castellón. Para mí es un placer, es un orgullo que vengas aquí, que estemos aquí compartiendo estos minutos en televisión. Y no solo que estés aquí, sino que también estés en el Castellón porque nos estás dando un poquito de luz, un poquito de esperanza para poder llegar lejos.
Thanks to come here, and he's saying that thanks also to be in Castellón because you are like brightening all the fans to come forward.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to be here. For me, I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy being around the team. I enjoy working with the people that I work with. So yeah, it's my pleasure being here.
Que gracias, estoy contento de estar aquí, disfruto mucho con el equipo, con el trabajo que hacemos todos y también es un placer para mí estar aquí.
Presentamos Rafa Scrich, buenas noches, buena nit.
Buenas noches, buena nit, un placer también para mí estar aquí.
¿Contento o más por a quien tenemos en la mesa que por el resultado de ayer, no?
Bueno, por supuesto, contentísimo de tener a Bob en la mesa, ahora hablaremos con él, por supuesto, y por el partido, pues evidentemente contento, porque al final cuando no puedes ganar un partido no lo pierdas, es una máxima muy muy añeja, pero es la verdad, ¿no? El partido se puso complicado, se puso para pelear, para batallarlo, para lanzar centros y encontrarlos, y al final un jugador que parecía que no tenía cifras, que no tenía resultados, es el que suma, y yo creo que esto lo vivimos también en tercera división, la época en la que ascendimos, en el último ascenso que conseguimos, y oye, creo que sumen todos los jugadores es positivo, con lo cual yo estoy contento.
Guillermo Viciano.
¿Qué tal, Alex?
Buenas noches, Manit. Content y pagat.
Siempre.
I was going to say maybe it's easier if the statements are a little less big because he still has to translate. Yeah.
Que fem més curt, que si no...
Sí, las respuestas más cortas para agilizar.
no, it's good, yeah.
Ágil, y si no le explotará la cabeza a Marc, que Marc está aquí haciéndonos de traductor.
No, he's saying that it's the same as you, when you cannot get 3 points, it's good to have 1 instead of 0 points in the last game. And also a player that like don't have a lot of minutes and now start playing again and not have a lot of luck in the last games. He finally was the one who get the point
yes.
for the club.
Sure, yeah. Oh, claro. Agree.
Guillermo, bona nit.
Bona nit, Àlex.
Content?
Content, sí. Un punt és un punt. Es millor que cero, por supuesto.
Sí, señor. Bueno, empezamos. Ayer el míster estaba muy enfadado. Dick yo le vi enfadado. Cuando le preguntaron los periodistas, lo vi muy enfadado. No sé si es así en el momento en privado o qué. Y dijo una cosa en rueda de prensa y luego pensaba otra.
He's saying that in the press conference when journalists ask Dick, he seems like angry. And if he's asking about if in private it's the same or if he don't say the same.
No, I think he's, maybe angry isn't the right word. I think he's very intense and also direct. I think this is kind of the nature that he has. It's very similar to me, direct. So sometimes it can come across as maybe angry or serious, but most of the times he's not like this. I mean, he's working and he's the same attitude when he's working, but around people, he's very pleasant to be around and we get along very well.
Mm-hmm.
Enfadado no es la palabra correcta, creo que es una persona muy directa y igual que yo, parece que muchas veces esté enfadado o sea serio, pero la mayoría de veces no es así, tiene la misma actitud cuando trabaja y si hablas con la gente del entorno es muy positivo.
Bueno, podéis preguntar cuando queráis sobre el partido de ayer. Me sorprendió que luego nos hemos enterado que no estaba Medunjanin, pero claro, viene Medunjanin aquí y luego no juega. Yo ya me temí lo peor, digo, a ver si ha pasado algo.
He's surprised because Harris didn't play last game, and he's saying like last week Harris was here, and it was like happened something here, that's why he played.
No, I don't think so. I think for me, I'm also surprised sometimes because I don't know who's going to play a lot of times until the lineup is set. So coach makes his decision for lots of different reasons. So
Que yo también a veces estoy sorprendido porque muchas veces hasta que no sale la alineación yo no sé quién va a jugar porque al final son decisiones que toma el entrenador.
Se ha comentado que tú a veces puedes orientar, ¿no? O decir, bueno, pues podría jugar este, podría jugar el otro, o no.
That there are some comments like you to the coach can say something like it could be better to play this or the other one or it's not correct.
It's false.
It's false.
With this coach, false for sure. Why do I need to tell him? We went and found the best coach we could. You just let him coach. Why? You know, if he asks my opinion, I will give it, and sometimes I will give my opinion about something, but it's just an opinion, and it's an open dialogue. But no, he's the coach. He gets to do what he wants to do. I don't think he would be happy if it was not this way. So for me, I'm happy with keeping him happy. So, and it's also better for the team to know that the coach is the one who's making all the decisions.
Con este entrenador no, para nada. ¿Para qué tengo que hacerlo? Obviamente si me pregunta la opinión yo se la digo, pero tenemos un diálogo muy abierto. Yo creo que él no estaría contento si le dijera eso y también creo que es bueno para el equipo que sepan y que vean que el que toma las decisiones es el entrenador.
Me gusta la puntuación de con este entrenador no.
He said that with this coach, he likes the statement like with this coach no, because he's very good.
Last year, of course, we had more of a open environment, I think. I think it was a learning experience for me too. I think we thought that we could find, first of all, it's very difficult to find the right coach. So we thought if we found someone who was open-minded, we could present some data and influence some decisions. I think in general that can work. It definitely worked in the NBA in some cases, but ideally what you want is you want to find a coach that plays the style you already want to play and then let him do his job. And you have to understand, when we bought the team, we inherited a coach, and then Ruben wasn't our choice. He was already with the club. You want to go ahead and translate? No?
Sí, el año pasado era un entorno también un poco más abierto, porque yo también estaba aprendiendo más. Encontrar al entrenador correcto es difícil, pero al final cuando lo encuentras le tienes que dejar hacer su trabajo, y el año pasado con Rubén era un entrenador que ya estaba antes de que yo llegase al club.
And then when we hired Albert, Albert didn't have a lot of time to research our players and to know the strengths and weaknesses of all the players on our team. So it was helpful to provide him with this players. We have this player is very good at this player is very good at that. These are how we see the players in terms of who we think are better at certain roles, just from an objective data standpoint. So that was kind of the reasoning for that last year, to kind of get him up to speed. But once he was here for a while, he was making all of the decisions in terms of who played and who didn't play, certainly for I would say 90% of the time he was here.
Cuando traímos a Albert, Rudet tampoco tuvo mucho tiempo de conocer al equipo por el momento en el que llegó, para conocer las fortalezas, las debilidades. El año pasado sí que nosotros, pues en tema de datos, podíamos saber pues quién era mejor, los roles que tenían cada jugador, y para eso el año pasado, si hubiéramos tenido más velocidad, sí que hubiera sido un poco más diferente.
¿Cómo encontráis a Dick y cómo, porque yo esto lo veo como un poco de amor, ¿cómo os enamoráis? Love with Dick.
How do you find Dick in the football market?
How did I find him?
Yeah.
We did basically a statistical analysis of all the coaches that we thought improved the players over time. So in other words, the player was rated at a certain level before he got there, and then as the season went on, they improved, played what we thought was a more, I think, smart style in terms of how we want to play, in terms of very aggressive, not trying to get lucky, more offensive-minded, more pressure, attacks through the middle, etc., etc. We did a pretty deep dive on that. We had all of the coaches ranked in terms of who we thought were the best options. We also consulted with some other people who we respect, who gave us some opinions on some coaches, but for the most part it was entirely data. And then we met with all the people that we had rated high that were available, and whoever we clicked with and were interested were the ones that we wanted. And Dick was our number one choice from the beginning. Even in the winter he was our number one choice.
Pues a partir de estadísticas, de análisis, y sobre todo cómo mejoraba los jugadores con el tiempo, en el sentido de que cómo cogía un jugador, los datos que tenía ese año, y al año siguiente, cuando Dick se iba, cómo había mejorado cómo había mejorado ese propio jugador. También con el estilo que queremos jugar, más inteligente, más agresivo, no jugar tanto con la suerte, como ya veis todos, pues ofensivo, con presión. Y hicimos un profundo análisis de toda la lista de entrenadores que teníamos, con casi todo a base de datos, y el interesado número uno era Dick, y también en invierno era Dick el primero.
Es un fútbol atractivo, es un show ir a ver al Castellón. ¿Es lo que tú buscas también?
He's saying that it's a show, watching a Castellón game. Is that what you're looking for the team?
I think it's nice that it's a show, but I want to win. I want to win games, yeah. Like, I don't want to go up 1-0 and then do what Atletico Madrid did last week, or what we did in our playoff game versus Alcorcón, which is now we just play defensive and just hope that we can hold on. It doesn't seem like a good style to me. Yeah, so it's attractive, it's more exciting. I think it's smarter. I think it also is more fun for the players to come and play. It's easier to attract players, come and play this style. So yeah, all good all around, really.
Es bonito, pero al final yo también no solo quiero ganar, no como el Atlético con 1-0, no tanto jugar a la suerte como tal vez hicimos en el playoff allí en Alcorcón en el segundo partido. Al final es un estilo más atractivo, más excitante, que a la gente le gusta, y además a los jugadores también pues es más fácil atraerles a los jugadores con este estilo de juego, porque ven cómo funciona, y al final creo que alrededor es todo bueno del estilo.
Mejor el espectáculo del Castellón que el espectáculo del Ibiza.
it's better the show that Castellón show in the games than Ibiza.
I think it shows there's lots of different ways to play smart winning football. You can play the way Ibiza plays. I'm sure it has its benefits. Our style maybe is more fun to watch at times, but also it requires a level of physical endurance that a lot of players can't sustain for an entire season. Whereas you might be able to argue that Ibiza, because they don't run as much as we do, that they might be able to sustain that longer. That's one argument. I think we definitely have won games by more in terms of, in other words, our results are more statistically pure in some ways because we're not depending on lots of like one goal lucky chances. Not saying they're lucky because they're very skilled, but we're winning games by more. At least we were in the beginning. Now it seems like they've started to score more goals. Ibiza has, so they've done a very good job. But it's just different. They have their style, it works. We have our style, it works. And at the end of the day, I hope we're both promoted because it's clear that we are, on a different category than the rest of the league.
Al final nuestros resultados son más puros porque al final no dependemos de un gol o de una acción simplemente si el partido queda 1-0. No estoy diciendo para nada que ellos estén ganando por suerte porque tienen mucha calidad. Sí que es verdad que ahora están marcando más goles, son estilos diferentes, funcionan ambos y sí que espero que subamos los dos porque creo que es de equipos de otra categoría con el resto de la liga.
¿Te esperabas un Castellón tan...? Marian Bermúdez, una compañera nuestra, hizo una encuesta y tú eras de los que dijo que sí que pensaba que el Castellón iba a estar donde va a estar ahora, o donde está ahora. Éramos pocos los que pensábamos que íbamos a estar ahí arriba, yo el primero. Yo era optimista, pero no tanto. Tú lo eras tanto y ahora, la segunda parte de la pregunta. ¿Cuánto de optimista eres cara a la segunda vuelta para la final de la Liga?
If you think that when the season starts, now we are going to be first, he said in a tweet, you say yes. If do you expect that? And how much optimistic do you are for the second part of the...
How much which?
Optimistic.
Yeah, very
for the second
optimistic.
leg.
Yeah, very optimistic. I think I didn't expect that we would be this far ahead in terms of the rest of the group and then have another team be even with us. Mm-hmm. That's something I didn't expect. But I think last year, to be perfectly fair, we had some very, very good results. Much better. I think we performed much better last year than we should have based on our approach to how we played. In terms of just like our fitness level, our preparation, our approach to the game strategically. So, and then we added some more better players this year. So yeah, I was very optimistic. I think when I did my press conference to announce Dick as the coach, I think I said we would lead the league in goals. I think I said this, or possibly. So yeah, I expected this sort of offensive style. So it's so far so good. Dick?
Sí que soy optimista para esta segunda vuelta. No esperaba estar tan lejos del resto de equipos en el grupo y tener a un equipo que estaba tan cerca con nosotros, con los mismos puntos. Para ser justos, el año pasado también jugamos algún partido bien, muchas veces, en términos de datos físicos, de cómo preparábamos los partidos, y al final a eso le hemos añadido mejores jugadores. Y como dije en el anuncio de la rueda de prensa de Dick, dije que íbamos a ser el equipo más goleador de toda la temporada, de toda la liga, y al final así está siendo, así que sí que me lo esperaba.
Bueno, si queréis preguntar. ¿Cuánto importante, o cómo le explicamos a la gente, cuánto influyen el Big Data en la formación del equipo y en la formación de la plantilla?
How much important is the big data when you make the squad, the whole squad?
This is all I know, really. So for me, it's the most important thing that with our organization, I think, because I feel like it's an area where we have a real competitive advantage, and so we lean into it. But to me, there's all different types of data. There's the mathematical data and the models you can have, but there's also the opinion of people who you respect. When they give you their opinion, that's also data. So I will consider that as well. And so everything really goes into it. But for us, we really spend a lot of time and money and resources on making sure that we are doing the best job possible to have the best analytical approach to the game of football in terms of players, coaches, methods, etc. Because I feel like that's what I've basically been doing my whole life, so why would I stop doing it now?
Sobre los datos es todo lo que sé, o sea, es lo más importante en la organización. Al final es donde tenemos una ventaja competitiva sobre el resto, pero tenemos muchos tipos de datos, no solamente los matemáticos, también para mí la opinión de la gente a la que yo respeto, eso también lo cuento como dato y es todo un conjunto. Al final estamos invirtiendo mucho dinero y mucho tiempo en hacer el mejor trabajo analítico en cuanto a jugadores, entrenadores, métodos, y es lo que llevo haciendo toda la vida, así que ¿por qué cambiarlo?
Y no te ha ido mal.
And he's saying that you say that you will making this all your life, and he's saying that it would be good for you.
Yeah, it's not bad. So far, so good.
It's worth.
Alex, yo sí que quería preguntarle, porque antes ha dicho, ¿le pregunte yo? O?
Sí, tírale.
Antes ha dicho que con Albert Rudé la temporada pasada quizás se utilizaba más ese Big Data. You said that last season with Albert Rudé, like you were using more data than maybe this year, and the question, not this year, but with Dick. Does Dick use less the data than Albert? Utiliza a lo mejor.
No, I don't think that. No, I don't think that's what I meant. What I meant was we were, I would say, providing more information for Albert to look at. Dick has access to the same information, but he has brought his own analyst with him who works very hard. It's a gentleman named Dennis, and we had Paco from last year. So those are the analysts. We've provided those two with more access to more information, and that helps them do their job better. But at the end of the day, I don't think I've ever really given my impression on like who I think we should play to Dick, because I trust his decisions. But of course, we have conversations about general things, about the strengths and weaknesses of some of the players, especially in the beginning. But it's not that we used data more last year. We used data more this year, in fact. But it's more on selecting. My approach is we pick the roster, and then you let the coach do what he wants to do. That's that's the strat. That's then you can provide information. He has a lot of game reports he can look at after the game, and he can look at that. And then maybe he uses that to make his decision for next week. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I'm not sure what his actual approach is. I'm sure he consults some of the stuff because we have access to a lot of different information that his staff and him can use. My game plans, skill corner. We have another company that we use that's providing us with post-match and pre-match analysis reports. So I don't say it's less or more. It's just different. You have more trust in the coach to do his thing and let him kind of do his job. That's what you're paying him to do. So.
No creo que sea eso lo que he dicho. Lo que quería decir es que Dick tiene el mismo acceso a la información y a los datos que tenía Albert, pero simplemente pues, no la debe usar tanto, porque también tenemos a Denis, que es un analista, Paco, que ya estaba el año pasado. Ellos son quienes hacen su trabajo. Ellos tienen todo el abanico abierto para el tema de los datos. Al final con Dick tenemos conversaciones muy generales. Al final sí que le doy mi opinión, pero nunca doy la impresión de quién debe jugar o quién no. Al final yo creo que esto elegimos la plantilla y después el entrenador hace su trabajo con los jugadores. Él tiene acceso a muchos datos sobre planes de partido, sobre los corners. Entonces post y pre-match, o sea, post y pre-partido, informes. Entonces simplemente no es que haya más ni menos datos, es que sino que más confianza en el entrenador.
Voy a decirlo porque mientras os escuchaba me siento como Oprah Winfrey.
¿Qué has dicho?
Que me sent com a Oprah Winfrey.
No sé lo que es.
Una presentadora molt famosa.
He feels like a presentation who...
Like Oprah.
Yeah, he doesn't speak and we translate.
The famous.
A USA, I don't know the name.
Oprah.
No, and the other
it's
thing,
more important.
I think the other thing that's important to think about is if you want someone to be a leader, the coach is the leader of all of these men, so he's all the players, they have to know that he's in charge, yeah? So like, okay, of course I'm the president of the team, but he's in charge of the team and how they play. So if you have a leader and you want him to lead, you have to give him the ability to lead and the freedom to make his own decisions. And so that's kind of my approach, I think.
que al final el líder de este equipo es el entrenador. Está claro que yo soy el presidente, pero los jugadores tienen que saber que el líder es el entrenador, el líder es Dick. Al final a él le damos total libertad y él tiene la habilidad para ser el líder de la plantilla.
Él decide y decidió, en este caso, pues no poner el otro día a Mendujani, pero lo que decide Bob en este caso es el planter. Anem a veure el planter, vamos a ver el squad sí, vamos a ver el equipo, y este es el squad de Castellón, con las nuevas incorporaciones de new players. Más o menos las posiciones se pueden mover, no es
The position he said that Dick can move all the players.
Nikita Yosifov es una de las novedades. El otro tenemos a Douglas Aurelio, y arriba a Belwick, que es el último futbolista en entrar. Faley is out, Anton is out, Jeremy is out, Christian is out, Groning is out. Your valoration for the
Winter market.
Transfer window?
Good. I think every player that went out that we added, I think we feel like we got a little bit better or a little bit different. We still had 2 open spots, and we were waiting on one player that we thought maybe we could get. But we didn't want to add a player just for the sake of adding a player who wasn't going to play, because I think it's important also to maintain the unity of the team and the harmony. And so you want to make sure that if you add someone in, that he's going to be positive energy, positive contribution, happy with his role. These are the most important things, I think. And so, maybe we could have kept Anton longer because we liked him, but he wanted to play. And it wasn't like he wasn't happy, but I think we wanted to do him the favor as a young player to let him go, and that's maybe one. And Christian, I think maybe the same type of thing. This type of role, his strengths maybe weren't necessarily what the team needed in terms of how he likes to play. It didn't necessarily 100% suit the style, although he's a very, very good player. And then Jeremy left because he wanted to go to Real Madrid. Who could blame him? We're not Real Madrid, unfortunately. Yeah. So he went to the B team, and it's a dream of his, and so we're happy for him.
Bueno, cualquiera que se ha ido, pues ha venido alguien en sustitución, algo mejor o diferente. Simplemente tenemos dos fichas libres. Estamos esperando a un jugador, pero no vamos a añadir por añadir a ningún jugador más en la plantilla por rellenar. En el equipo hay unidad y armonía, entonces queremos estar seguros de que si traemos a alguien sea para mantener la armonía, que siga el positivismo en la plantilla, que el jugador esté contento con su rol, y eso es lo más importante. Podríamos haber seguido con Antón, porque es un jugador joven que queríamos desarrollar, pero él quería jugar. Christian igual, al final estaba teniendo ahora un rol en el que obviamente él es muy bueno y quiere jugar, y tal vez el rol que iba a tener ahora no era el mismo. Y bueno, Jeremy pues al final se ha ido al Real Madrid, pues por mala suerte no somos el Madrid, entonces era su sueño y estamos contentos de que lo cumpla.
And Sebastian also very, very good person, very happy to have him around, but I think he wanted a bigger role than we could give him. For us, De Miguel has always been our number 1 striker. Even in the summertime, everyone was saying, "Oh, you need to sign a striker. You need to sign a striker." In our minds, we thought we already had one. So I think for him, he has an opportunity now to go someplace and maybe play more. And the striker we got to replace him, I think he understands that he's here to support the team, and maybe he will play a lot, maybe he won't, but he's happy with his role, as I understand it. So it seems like it's good.
Groning también es muy buena persona, pero al final él quería un rol más grande del que le podíamos dar. Demi es nuestro delantero número 1, en verano ya lo era. Cuando escuchaba a la gente en verano decir firma un delantero, en mi cabeza pensaba que ya teníamos uno. Al final pues Sebas quería jugar más, y Lars, que es el que ha venido, pues entiende que viene a ayudar al equipo, está contento con su rol, jugará más o menos, pero está contento con el rol que tiene aquí ahora.
Has dicho que estamos esperando un jugador, one player. ¿Hay un fichaje a punto de caer, a punto de tener el Castellón?
Do you say that we are expecting like a
No,
player?
no, we have a spot open. If something presents itself and it's a good fit, great. But I think it will be very tough if the player has to be without a team already. So it's possible, but not likely. Does that make sense?
Okay. I have a question. Who is involved right now for hiring new people?
Which people?
New players, I mean.
Which person is involved?
Yeah.
Myself and the people I work with, that I've worked with for many years on the data side. And then we have a recruitment manager, Ramon, who negotiates the contracts, speaks with the agents, provides some information on the players as well. The coaches give their input. That's kind of how it goes. But I didn't buy a football team so I could hire other people to pick my players for me. That wasn't going to happen. So for me, it's I want to make the right decision, and I feel like my incentives are aligned for the club. I'll let you translate because this is something that maybe a lot of people don't understand.
Yo y la gente con la que llevo trabajando con los datos desde hace muchos años, al final Ramón habla con los agentes, negocia los contratos, Dick también da su opinión, pero claro, no compré un equipo para que alguien decida a quién fichamos o a quién no.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the only person who's here for the long term at the club is me. Yeah, I hope Dick stays for a very long time, but at the end of the day, he's free to go wherever he wants because he's a free person. But for me, I'm stuck with Castelló, yeah? So you have to have incentives that make sense. So imagine you hire a high-profile manager and you give him the ability to sign players however he wants. And now he's trying to save his job. And so he makes a lot of short-term decisions to sign players that don't match with the long-term vision of the club. This happens a lot. The number one goal of a sporting director or a general manager in basketball, their number one job is to save their job. That's it. They don't care about the club. So I think it makes sense to have the president and the owner of the club, provided they know what they're doing, to make these decisions. Because at the end of the day, I'm here for the long term, so I have that in mind. I'm not making short-term decisions. So it just makes sense. Now, we're very lucky because we have a coach who has a very high profile and players want to play for him. So we get a lot of players who say they want to come play for Dick. And if Dick likes them, he recommends them to me, and we look at them and we check the data. And if the data matches, we sign the player. If the data doesn't match, we ask more questions. Why do you like this player? And then maybe we still sign the player. So it's a nice system we have now. It works really, really well. Everyone works together. Everyone has the same goal in mind, which is to get promoted and to also maintain the future financial goal of the club. So this is kind of a good situation right now.
Al final la única persona que va a estar aquí mucho tiempo soy yo. Obviamente ojalá espero que Dick también esté mucho tiempo, pero tiene sentido que el que va a estar aquí a largo plazo pues sea el que tome las decisiones, porque el puesto de director deportivo, de general manager en el básquet, su único objetivo es salvar su puesto. Entonces al final muchas veces se toman decisiones a corto plazo y yo intento tomar todas las decisiones a largo plazo para que el proyecto siga adelante. Al final tenemos mucha suerte de que tenemos un entrenador muy bueno y hay jugadores que quieren jugar para él. Entonces si Dick viene con algún jugador, lo chequeamos con los datos y si nos cuadra pues lo intentamos firmar, y si no pues seguimos haciendo más preguntas de por qué te gusta este jugador, por qué quieres que venga. Al final creo que es un buen sistema, todos trabajamos juntos, todos tenemos el mismo objetivo, que es subir, pero también mantener el apartado financiero del club en buen estado.
And also just give you an example, we signed Daijiro and Joshua, both very young players, so there's not a lot of data on them. You can't take a data approach and have a good opinion on them because they hadn't played a lot of minutes. They were young. But Dick had experience with them. Also, his main assistant, Johan Platt, also had a very strong opinion on these two players. So we took a look at them. We looked at the data. We looked at how fast they run, other types of data, not just model data, but like raw physical data. We look at the style of play that Dick wants to play, which means you need fast center backs. And so we signed them. And that was a good example of how everyone kind of worked together. But I would never have thought of those two players if it wasn't for them bringing him up, because they had more experience with those players, if that makes sense. And it's a very big asset for us to have a coach who has coached in the Eredivisie and knows very, very good players that are also willing to come here and play in the third division in Spain. It's very rare and it's an asset. It's positive.
Un ejemplo son Daijiro y Joshua, que son dos jugadores muy jóvenes y por tanto no hay mucho dato sobre ellos porque no han jugado tampoco demasiados minutos, pero Dick y Johan, que es el asistente principal de Dick, tenían mucha opinión sobre ellos. Miramos también los datos, son jugadores muy rápidos, datos también en el sentido de físicos y de cómo es el estilo al que Dick quiere jugar, y al final para este estilo necesitamos centrales y defensas rápidos. Entonces este es un claro ejemplo de cómo trabajamos juntos, porque yo si no hubiera estado Dick a estos dos jugadores no los hubiera firmado, pero teniendo un entrenador que ha estado en la Eredivisie, en la primera de Holanda, pues al final tienes la capacidad de poder traerte jugadores a la tercera división española, que al final no es algo usual.
In these terms, which player did you surprise or impress the most?
Mendujanin.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't too surprised with Daijiro and Josh because you watch the video and you can see, like, it wasn't like you couldn't see that they were good. You could watch them and you could see they're both skilled, yeah. Harris, it didn't surprise me that he was good because has a great career, so of course you know how much quality he has. What surprised me that at 38, almost now 39, that he's the fittest person on the team and he runs the hardest and works the most. That's the most surprising for sure. Yeah, big time. Yeah, I didn't expect that he would have this impact at all. In fact, if you look at the messages when we signed him on Twitter, the messages on Twitter and Instagram when we signed them, they were not positive. So yeah, it was interesting. For me, I was all on board when signing him, but I had no idea that he was going to be this committed to and be this big of an asset for us. Very important player.
No estoy demasiado sorprendido con el rendimiento de Daijiro y de Joshua, porque al final no es que no haya ningún dato sobre ellos, hay vídeos y puedes verlos y investigarlos. Y en cuanto a Harris, no es que no me sorprende para nada que sea bueno, porque ha tenido una excelente carrera. Lo que me sorprende es que con casi 39 años sea el jugador más en forma del equipo, el que más presiona, el que más corre, el que más duro entrena, y al final este impacto en el equipo es el que no me esperaba. Si tú lees los mensajes en Twitter y en Instagram cuando se firmó a Harris, pues puedes ver la opinión de que tenía la gente cuando llegó, no eran demasiado positivos, pero bueno, al final es muy bueno que un perfil así esté en el equipo.
And where does Harris impress you the most, inside or outside the pitch?
He's an impressive person. He impresses me, I would say, outside the pitch, because here's someone who doesn't have to work as hard as he does. And he's here working hard, he's training, he's riding the bus for 9 hours back on the way from Cordoba and all these trips. That's impressive to me. But it's also, I think it's indicative of the culture we have with the team, because we have a coach, same situation. He doesn't have to be in the third division of Spain, but he believed in the project. I took the bus back yesterday from Madrid, or 2 days ago, and I didn't have to. I could certainly fly back if I wanted to, but I think everyone really works hard and they want to. Now, I don't always take the bus, don't get me wrong, but it's important for me to understand what the players are going through and how we can make the experience for them better. But yeah, he's an impressive individual off the pitch, and then on the pitch, has top quality class all around. Yeah.
Es una impresionante persona fuera del campo, porque no tendría por qué trabajar tan duro como lo está haciendo, ni tener por qué hacerse 9 horas cada viaje de vuelta con el autobús. Al final linkea mucho con la cultura que tiene Dick, porque está en la misma situación. No es un entrenador que si quisiera no estaría en la tercera división de España, pero al final cree en el proyecto, estamos todos involucrados mucho en ello. Yo también volví en autobús hace 2 días de Madrid y podía haber vuelto de otra manera, volando, pero eso fuera del campo me ha parecido una persona impresionante, y dentro del campo pues todo el mundo ve el rendimiento que está dando.
A mí Mendujanin me impacta como persona.
How do you explain to Dick in the summer? Come here to the third division, Spanish third division. You get promoted to the first division. Come here.
How?
How do you explain? How do you say?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's the type of person who these types of situations are attractive to him. He likes to maybe think a little bit outside the box. He doesn't like to be influenced by what other people think. I don't know. I'm speaking for him, but I think the project was attractive. I think our approach was attractive. We sold him on the idea that we will all be working very, very hard for the same goal, that we had an edge. We believed we had an edge in our analytical approach, and that would help him, I think, in some ways, not to be a better coach, but to get good players. And also, I think we just connected. We had a good relationship from the start. I think we had a good respect for. I certainly respect him a lot. I feel as though he treats me with the same amount of respect. I feel like we get along very well. So I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him that. Maybe he wouldn't even be able to answer it, because it's just the feeling you get about someone. I think the feeling he got when we met was good, and he came and visited the facilities. He liked it. Spain, it's nice here. Why wouldn't you want to live here? It's very beautiful. And then you have a chance to be a part of something really special. Taking a team from the 3rd division all the way to the 1st division, that's a big accomplishment if we can achieve that. So.
Es un tipo de persona al que le gustan estas situaciones, le gustan los retos, no se deja influenciar por la gente. Bueno, estoy hablando en nombre de él, creo que es así. Al final él sabe que todos trabajamos muy duros para conseguir el mismo objetivo, y que también nosotros tenemos unas herramientas con los datos que también obviamente pues ayudan a todo el entorno. Al final estamos todos conectados, tenemos muy buena relación, le respeto muchísimo y noto el mismo trato por su parte. A la hora de conocernos, ese feeling que teníamos que no se puede explicar. Al final también es muy bonito coger un equipo, si lo conseguimos, en 3ª división y de un país como España, y llevarlo a 1ª división, que en España pues también se vive muy bien y es un bonito país para vivir, y es un bonito reto coger un equipo en la 3ª categoría e intentar llevarlo hasta la 1ª.
¿Cogió el Castellón por algunas cosas, pero sobre todo porque tenía playa?
Do you choose Castellón because a lot of things, but because it's a city with beach?
I like to be there. The coast.
It's important?
Sure. Yeah. I think, definitely. See, I think also, though, like maybe what attracted him to the project was our approach. In other words, I'm not a rational person. So when you have a coach who wants to play a certain style. He goes to work for a team. They have a board. They have different ownership group. It's a very aggressive, high-risk style. Some people may not appreciate that. And so he's with someone who I'm never going to overreact to a bad result. I'm like, during the preseason, everyone was panicking. I was not panicking, because for me, I understand the approach, I understand the risk, and I have belief in the approach. So when you have someone who believes in you and isn't going to micromanage you or also overreact and give you the freedom to play the way you want to play, I think maybe that's appealing. I don't know. I feel like I would appreciate that if I was in his position, I think. But I think he's made up his mind for whatever reason, and he's here, and I'm happy he's here. So it doesn't really matter to me why he's here. It just matters that we were able to convince him. So.
Es importante, sí, también. Al final yo creo que también lo que le atrajo aquí es que pues él podía jugar con el equipo como está jugando ahora, con un riesgo alto, y que yo no voy a sobrereaccionar a un mal resultado. En la pretemporada todo el mundo estaba pues como estaba en redes sociales con los resultados, pero él tenía totalmente la libertad para jugar de la manera que lo estaba haciendo. No para nada le iba a decir que tenía que cambiarla, y así que yo, si estuviera en su lugar, también apreciaría este espacio de trabajo y la libertad que tiene para trabajar. Y al final no importa el cómo o el por qué está aquí, lo que importa es que estoy contento de que Dick esté aquí.
You've met a lot of important people around sports, especially in top flights leagues in America. Is Dick one of the most interesting or smarter, or I don't know how to say it, people around sports that you've ever met?
Yeah, he's definitely up there. There's I worked with a lot of top quality coaches in the NBA as well, and they all have like a certain level of I think belief in what they're doing, and also the ability to get better. They work hard, so they all have the same characteristics, but maybe they're all unique in their own little ways. But there's a lot of similarities between the coach I worked with in Dallas, I would say, and Dick in some ways, just in terms of how they approached things. So for me, it was easy to adjust to this type of situation, because I felt like I already had some insight into the drive and the want to get better, and the work ethic. So and also the intelligence and the ability to like recognize things very quickly.
Sabemos que...
Voy a translate.
perdón.
Sí, definitivamente sí. Al final también he trabajado con muchos entrenadores top de la NBA y al final pues ellos también ellos saben el nivel que tienen y tienen que creer en lo que hacen para poder seguir mejorando. Al final en Dallas también tenía alguna similitud con el entrenador que estaba trabajando, algunas características y al final es fácil, entonces si es algo similar ajustar estas situaciones.
Sabemos que que Harris le queda poco tiempo de jugar. Sabemos que tú estarás mucho tiempo aquí. ¿Cuánto podemos asegurar que estará Dick?
He said that we know that Harris is not a lot of time of play. I mean, in his career, you will be here a lot of time. But what about Dick?
Dick has a 4-year contract, so my hope is that he stays for the whole contract. And yeah, I'm so far so good. He hasn't told me he wants to leave, so why would I assume that he wants to leave? I think we really believe in him as a coach, but we also believe in our ability to identify maybe someone not as good as him, but someone similar. So ideally, we want him to stay as long as possible, of course, and I've told him this as well, that we can really achieve this together as a team. But I try not to worry about things out of my control. So I haven't thought about what happens if he leaves. We plan just in case it happens, but I'm not worrying about it, if that makes sense. Because it's just not my philosophy on life, is not to worry about things that are out of my control. I do everything I can to keep him happy and to provide a good environment for him. But at the end of the day, I respect his decision to do whatever he wants. And I hope he stays. But if he doesn't, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Al final tiene 4 años de contrato, espero que lo cumpla entero. No me ha dicho que quiere salir, o sea que, pero creemos mucho en él como entrenador, pero también creemos en la habilidad en el caso de que salga, pues de poder encontrar a alguien, no voy a decir mejor, pero sí con un estilo parecido. Al final no me puedo preocupar por cosas que no están bajo mi control, no soy ese tipo de persona, sí que puedo planear algunas soluciones, pero no estoy preocupado porque al final no son cosas que estén bajo mi control, respeto completamente su decisión y haga lo que haga, pues voy a estar aquí con él.
Bob, hace poco tiempo que estás aquí porque llegaste al centenario, a los 100 años, pero tu impacto es muy fuerte en el Castellón, evidentemente, y en la provincia de Castellón, pero sobre todo también en el fútbol. ¿Eso te ha llegado a ti, de comentarios de fuera hacia ti?
You're like 1 year here only, it's a few...
1.5 years.
Yeah. Time flies. So you have very high impact in the city and also in the football environment. Do you have here some comments about it?
I don't. I mean, I read the comments, but I don't think about that. I think, like, for me, I just do my job, to be honest, and so I feel like we've accomplished a lot, but we really haven't accomplished anything. Because at the end of the day, you're still in the 3rd division, and we haven't got promoted. We didn't get promoted last year. So for me, I will start to pay attention more to that sort of thing once we get a little bit further along in our goals. Of course, when I meet the people and they are appreciative of me, that makes me feel good because it lets me know that I have an impact in people's lives. But if they were upset with me, as long as I felt like I was doing the right thing, it wouldn't bother me. Does that make sense? So it feels good, but I try not to let how other people view me to make, I don't let that really impact how I feel, if that makes sense. So I appreciate everyone's support, but it's not making me work harder or less hard. I'm going to work the same way regardless. Not that would translate well, but hopefully it does.
Al final leo comentarios, pero al final yo hago mi trabajo, para ser honesto. Sé que hemos conseguido mucho, pero realmente no hemos conseguido nada todavía, porque seguimos en la misma división, no pudimos ascender el año pasado. Cuando estemos más adelante o más arriba en los objetivos, pues ya podré hablar un poco más de eso. Entiendo que la gente aprecia mi trabajo, pero eso no hace que yo trabaje más o menos. Yo voy a seguir trabajando igual de duro, aunque la gente esté contenta conmigo o como si la gente está enfadada conmigo. Entonces, por mucho que estoy contento de que la gente aprecie mi trabajo, pero voy a seguir trabajando igual de duro, tanto como si lo hacen como no.
¿Cuántas horas trabaja para el Castellón?
How much hours do you work from Castellón?
I don't live here full time because I have some other business stuff that I do outside of Spain, but to be honest, the money is one thing. The amount of time I'm spending, it's a lot. It's a lot of time. So every working hour almost is dedicated to getting better at this specific job. So a lot, full-time plus, yeah, as you would say.
Que no vivo aquí a tiempo completo porque tengo otros negocios fuera de España y que el dinero es una cosa pero que el tiempo es otra y que gasto muchas horas de trabajo en el Castellón y que son la mayoría de horas de trabajo.
From the things you've done since you are here in Castellón, for you, what is the most important thing? Maybe the Marinador facilities, the sign of dig, I don't know, bringing people to Castalia. For you, what is the most important thing?
I think all of it. I think it's all important. No one thing is more important than the rest. I think it's just, it seems like well, for me, what I like is when I drive to the games, when I'm here and I see all the people walking in their jerseys and their kits. That to me is nice because when I remember our first game wasn't necessarily like this. When I look at videos from the year before, it wasn't like this. So I think just kind of like the energy is the most important thing because you can kind of feel that everyone's supporting the team and that feels nice. To be a part of something like that, I think is special. So.
Todo es importante, no creo que haya algo más importante que el resto, pero lo que más me gusta es conducir a los partidos de camino a Castalia y ver a la gente con sus camisetas, con sus bufandas, la energía que transmite todo eso, porque sé que nuestros primeros partidos la temporada pasada o incluso el año anterior de comprar el club no era así, entonces ver que se está formando todo eso para mí es lo más bonito.
Un momentet. És que tenim que anar a la publicitat, tenim que tallar. The money is more important for the television. Entonces, vamos a parar, hacemos un alto en el camino, paramos para la publicidad y volvemos enseguida. Doncs ja estem així una altra volta amb els nostres convidats i, evidentment, amb Bob Voulgaris, el propietari del Castelló. Hem fet una mitja tertúlia, així, fora of the record, i ara podem entrar així. Guillermo Viciano li estava preguntant a Bob.
¿Cómo una persona de Estados Unidos o que no vive aquí encuentra un club de fútbol en una ciudad tan pequeña, tan en medio de casi ninguna parte, ¿no? Como es Castellón? I can translate my myself.
No, I understand.
Yeah, you know the questions.
Well, we looked at lots of different clubs in Spain, to be honest, for a couple of years. Visited a bunch of different venues, some first division, some second division, none in the third division. And then I decided that of the teams that were available to buy, I didn't like any of them, so I just kind of stopped looking. And then the Castellón opportunity was the law firm we used came to us with this opportunity, thought about it, learned a little bit more about the team in the area and thought, why not? Seems like a good spot. Visited it. Yeah, it was a clean deal, very easy, good potential in some ways, limited in other ways, but yeah, super happy with it so far.
Al final buscamos muchos equipos, no en tercera división, sino en primera y en segunda división de España. Al final estuvimos un par de años buscando y no, al final de los que había disponibles no me acabó de gustar ninguno, entonces dejamos de buscar un tiempo y luego surgió la oportunidad del Castellón, lo pensamos, lo investigamos, buscamos más sobre el equipo, sobre el área, sobre el club y estamos muy contentos con la decisión tomada.
Y concretamente de Castellón, ¿cuál es la principal fortaleza que tiene el Castellón o what is the main
Strength.
Yeah, that you
I think the fans, the history of the club. It's a nice place to live. Location-wise, it checked that box on the coast. For me, it was important. But yeah, the fans are the most important thing because you can have a great team with a great project, but if people don't respond to it and you don't have the fans, it doesn't matter if you're in La Liga, if you can't get support, it's who wants to be a part of something that nobody else wants to participate in. So that was, I think, the biggest part of it, that we felt like if we got the team up to second division, first division, that we would that we have like real big support from the fans.
Al final los aficionados, la historia del club, también es un bonito sitio para vivir en la costa, que eso también es importante, pero al fin y al cabo los aficionados, porque al final si por mucho que el equipo pueda llegar a primera o a segunda división, si la gente no responde, pues al final esto es un deporte para los aficionados también, y sabíamos que si veníamos aquí y que si subíamos al equipo, ya lo están haciendo ahora, pues en primera y en segunda división, si conseguimos llegar, pues sabemos que la gente va a poder disfrutar de esto.
Is the fans culture quite different between Spain and America? ¿Es la cultura de los fans muy diferente?
Yeah, of course, the culture is different. I think the people here are interesting to me because I feel like maybe they've had such bad experiences with previous owners that to me it's like I don't understand like how no matter like so many people, it's mostly on the internet, not in person, but no matter how great everything is going, they're always like but sooner or later it's going to go bad. We just have to be ready for when it goes bad. This attitude to me is kind of interesting because I'm not used to it. But everyone's very nice, and yeah, the culture is different for sure. They're more passionate. But yeah, it's different. Different, but better, I think, also. The idea of relegation and promotion to me is just it creates so much more need to it just makes it more exciting. So, and I like that.
Que sí que es diferente porque aquí obviamente la gente pues se interesa en mí también, pero bueno, todos lo sabemos lo que hemos pasado aquí en Castellón con diferentes propietarios, y al final pues hay cosas que me chocan porque no lo acababa de entender, pero está claro que estoy muy contento con toda la respuesta de la afición. Sí que es verdad que es diferente porque diferente pero mejor, porque aquí en Castellón o en España los fans son más apasionados, y también me gusta mucho la idea de que haya ascensos y descensos, que hace mucho más interesante la competición.
Yo tengo la última, muy rápida,
claro.
very quick, sorry. Do you know that the other owners, they are under investigation?
I read about it, but to be honest, I don't know a lot about it, and it's kind of like, it seems super complicated and very drawn out, so I don't think it's worth too much of my time investigating it. But yeah, I understand now a little bit more as to why people are so, we would say, gun shy or shell shocked in some ways, worried.
Que al final parece muy complicado, pero no he tenido mucho tiempo para investigarlo, pero entiendo también que la gente, pues la preocupación de esa gente cuando hay un nuevo propietario.
Yo quiero preguntarte, cuando se llega a segunda o a primera, cuando se llega al fútbol profesional, ¿qué te gustaría cambiar del fútbol? No sé, por decir una tontería. Que se pueda beber cerveza, porque por ejemplo un espectáculo en la NBA no tiene nada que ver con lo que se ve aquí en el fútbol. ¿Qué te gustaría cambiar del fútbol?
In terms of when we arrive to second division or professional league, what do you want to change in terms of football? Because you know that now people can drink beer inside of the stadium.
Or the economy.
What do you want to change?
I will think about this, I guess, when we get there. I don't know. Yeah, no, I mean, the important thing I think is, especially now with the talk of the lease agreement with the city council, is to make the club somewhat more sustainable financially, because the way it is now, without someone like me who's putting all the money in, the club cannot sustain itself, so the fans can't really feel like they own or they're a part of the club. But if we can get to a point where we can generate enough revenue in a smart way, whether that's through selling alcohol, like you said, or maybe some extra, some luxury seating or some boxes, or some way for the club to generate some revenue, sponsorship. You know, we're in a league where Malaga is getting 750,000 from the city for putting Malaga on their jersey. I think Leonesa also maybe is, one other team, Linares is also getting some money. If we can get to a situation where we can generate some kind of money outside of what's my responsibility, then I think that's a benefit for everybody. So that's kind of what I'm focused on. Right now, our only real opportunity to make money, in my opinion, is to buy and sell players once we get to La Liga 2. So that's kind of where all of my investment is going, because I know I can control this. But it's not a super sustainable business model without that, if that makes sense, without player trading.
Que bueno, cuando lleguemos ahí pues pensaré más en eso, pero bueno, también en cuanto al club, que sea más sostenible financieramente, porque al final, sin alguien como yo que pone el dinero, pues el club no es sostenible. Entonces lo que quiero es que el club pueda generar dinero, pues como el tema con los sponsors, por ejemplo el Málaga, que recibe 700.000 euros por llevar Málaga en la camiseta, por patrocinio, el Linares también, y al final yo creo que eso sería bueno, porque sería conseguir dinero fuera de mí, y es lo que estoy buscando, pero ahora mismo creo que la manera de conseguir dinero más sencilla sería la compraventa de jugadores, y que es lo que más me centro, porque es lo que realmente puedo controlar.
Los chirinos.
Yeah, we have an international club that represents the province, not just the city, but the province, of Castellón, and it's a beautiful area. It might make sense to have more involvement, some more investment in this way. So that would be something that maybe we would like or appreciate. But at the end of the day, it's the reality is the revenues are somewhat capped in third division.
Al final somos un club internacional que representa a toda una provincia, un área muy bonita, y estaría bien pues tener eso, más ingresos por parte de externos, pero que la realidad es que los ingresos y el dinero recibido pues es corto,
sí,
acortado.
Hay más déficit que ganancias. El fair play financiero que se tiene que cumplir en la segunda división, ¿lo han empezado a estudiar ya? ¿Lo habéis empezado a estudiar ya?
Do you start studying the fair play for la Liga 2?
Yeah.
¿Y
We know.
cómo se llevará?
I think people don't understand the way the fair play works. Of course, you can always spend more if you invest more. So in some instances, our debt that we have now, which isn't really debt, it's capital injection based on how we've structured the company. It can be an advantage in some ways too, because I could always inject more money into the club, receive the money that I'm owed back, and now we would be able to get an increase in what we're allowed to spend. So we were familiar with how it works, and we're prepared for it in La Liga 2, and we're not concerned at all. We'll be fine. The financial fair play will be something that we will still be able to attract the same type of quality of football players, because there's lots of ways where you can work with the system to benefit yourself and also stay within the rules. Might have to sell some players at some point to generate more revenue, inject more capital, do a capital raise, that sort of thing. But it's not like, oh, financial fair play, we're trapped.
Sí, al final creo que la gente realmente no entiende cómo funciona, porque al final tú si gastas más pues puedes invertir más, puedes inyectar capital, al final puede volver dinero del que ya he puesto para volver a poner más y así incrementar, pero sí, no es algo por lo que estemos preocupados, sabemos cómo va el tema. También pues se pueden vender jugadores de calidad para tener ingresos y generar más dinero o inyectar capital, entonces parece que el fair play financiero como que estemos atrapados, pero que para nada es así.
No solo la liga en términos financieros te exige, not only in financial terms, la liga asks you about several things. Have you spoken with them in terms of maybe the stadiums, the changes that you have to...
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we need in order to be La Liga 2 compliant. Scoreboard, video boards, lighting, then there's safety issues, drainage, etc. So we know all of the things we need. We're prepared for this. The city knows about it because we don't own the stadium at the end of the day. And so it's just a question of how to get these changes done as soon as possible, because we can't. The amount of time and let's say paperwork or formalities that are required from the city to approve, council to approve these changes, we need to do it as soon as possible, so we're prepared for it, because our goal and our expectation is to be in La Liga 2 next year.
Al final sabemos que tenemos que cumplir también muchas cosas, como el marcador, videomarcador, el tema de las luces, y estamos preparando todo eso. Al final el ayuntamiento
TV,
también...
scoreboard.
Sí, el videomarcador, sí.
El videomarcador.
Sí, all of this is required.
Sí.
Yeah.
Porque al final el estadio no es nuestro, y tenemos que intentar conseguir los cambios lo antes posible. El ayuntamiento también lo sabe, porque al final, como se ha exteriorizado muchas veces, el objetivo es estar en el año que viene en segunda.
Begoña Carrasco, the Mayor de Castellón, dijo aquí en este programa, en esta televisión, que iba a ayudar todo lo que podía al club y que, bueno, en pocas palabras, que ya estaba pensando en esa mesa de negociación, por una parte en la ciudad deportiva, por otra parte en el estadio. Si el ayuntamiento no llega a tiempo, ¿será Bob o el Castellón el que se adelante económicamente o a la hora de hacer reformas?
The mayor of the city said here in this program that he's going to help all the club in all we need. Thinking about the city, the new sports training, the stadium. If the council can arrive to this, are you going to put money to arrive to this?
We're not able to. It's not our stadium, yeah. So we have to come to an agreement with the council. So we have a team now working with them, and we're optimistic that we will be able to come to some sort of agreement. But there also has to be everyone has to be realistic. You can't expect someone to invest all this money into a club without any type of idea of how the process is going to go. And I also can't expect a city that doesn't have money to spend money they don't have. So there's a balance there that we need to achieve, and I'm optimistic that they will be able to create a structure, a deal structure that will allow us to feel comfortable investing more money, and will allow them to, basically come to an agreement of sorts where maybe there's other ways we can generate revenue with the stadium. Maybe we can use the stadium on off nights to generate revenues with concerts, this sort of thing. Like, there's lots of different ways to do it that doesn't involve a Canadian with no roots from Castelló to come in and put all his money into a stadium that he doesn't own or have any control over. Yeah. So that's my perspective on it, but I have much more diplomatic and smart people working on the deal, and I trust them. But my perspective is, like, we have to be realistic here. I'm not a billionaire who came here to throw fairy dust money all over the city of Castelló. So.
Al final no es nuestro estadio, tenemos que llegar a un acuerdo también con el ayuntamiento y estamos trabajando con ellos. Somos optimistas, pero también hay que ser realista que alguien no va a poner dinero en el estadio que no es suyo sin saber cómo se va a gastar o cómo va a ser todo el proceso. Tenemos que encontrar un balance entre las dos partes. Estamos creando una estructura en el acuerdo para que nosotros pues podamos invertir más dinero y que el propio ayuntamiento pues pueda generar con tema de conciertos o haciendo otro uso del ayuntamiento, del estadio, de conseguir dinero también. Y al final no va a llegar aquí un canadiense que no tiene ninguna raíz con Castellón a poner dinero porque sí. Por suerte tengo gente diplomática en el equipo que está trabajando en ello y confío mucho en ellos.
And so from that perspective, it's important that any type of investment that's done in the stadium, in my opinion, should be to get it to be La Liga 2 compliant, safe, so make sure it doesn't flood, make sure the preferencia is safe, all these other things, and then ability to actually generate realistic revenue. So if we're doing things that aren't going to achieve one of those three things, they're not necessary. So if we can't fill the stadium to 90% capacity, we don't need to add more seats. Well, maybe we need to add more expensive seats that people do want to buy. So these are the types of things that I think about, because I think it's important that everyone's realistic, and adding another 5,000 or 6,000 seats that are going to sit empty until we get to La Liga doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So we have to be, La Liga compliant, Liga 2 compliant, safe, and then the ability to generate realistic revenue. Those are the things that I see in order of preference.
El orden de preferencia... Pues,
maybe safe first and then La Liga 2 compliant. But,
el orden de preferencia, pues primero, sobre todo, que sea un estadio seguro, pues terminar con grietas y con cosas que hay, luego también cumplir la normativa de la Liga, de la segunda división, y luego también pues generar dinero con el estadio. Esas tres cosas en ese orden. Obviamente la primera, la seguridad, y también en cuanto a la capacidad del estadio, que hasta que si no hay un 99% de capacidad en todos los partidos, pues tampoco es tan importante incrementar 5 o 6 mil, no tiene mucho sentido incrementar 5 o 6 mil asientos al estadio si no está lleno.
Maybe this is, but from everything we've modeled, it seems like it's not the number one priority.
Pero
Que no es la primera prioridad.
hay mucha gente que, claro, se saca el carnet pero no va al estadio. ¿Eso cómo lo arreglamos?
There are a lot of people who buy the season ticket but don't come to the stadium. What can we do?
It's difficult.
Yeah, I think we have to think about this. I think we have to. I appreciate that the people who do this, they want to support the club, and so this is their way of supporting the club and being a member. And maybe we need to give them some other way of becoming a member that doesn't require them to buy a seat that they don't go to. Because the most important thing to the team is that the stadium is filled with as many people as possible, making as much noise as possible, and having as big an impact on the opponent. This is the whole point of a home field. So we'll figure this out. I think there's lots of different options. You know, we've come up with some different ideas, but I have to speak to the marketing and commercial team about this to get a better idea. But yeah, it's not ideal, of course. I mean, we'll have to figure some way to solve this, I suppose.
Tenemos que pensar en eso. Obviamente aprecio mucho que la gente se haga abonada y para ser miembro del equipo, pero tenemos que intentar buscar una solución a eso y otra manera para que ellos también se sientan miembros. Al final lo más importante para el equipo es que el estadio esté lleno, que haga el mayor ruido posible, que tenga el mayor impacto posible en el rival y en el propio Castellón, que se note que estemos jugando en casa. Intentaremos arreglar eso, tenemos diferentes ideas, tengo que hablar con el equipo comercial y de marketing para mirarlo todo.
Estos son el proyecto de la manzana albinegra que Begoña Carrasco, antes de las elecciones, pues prometió hacer en el estadio.
Looks very beautiful.
¿A usted le gusta? ¿Le gusta este proyecto?
Do you like it?
Sure. No, it looks good. I mean, yeah, the stadium is old. It needs to be updated. How we achieve this, that's the problem. Yeah, what's the best solution for this is what we're trying to figure out.
Al final, obviamente que me gusta, al final el estadio es viejo, tiene que renovarse y tenemos que encontrar pues ahí el acuerdo para las dos partes.
What's more important to you, to have a brand new stadium, or modern stadium, or training facilities top quality?
I think the training facility we have now works. It's not ideal, but it works. I think the most important. They're both important. I think they're both going to take time to really get the right solution for. So it's not like one's more important than the other. It's just what's more realistic and what helps us achieve our goals faster is what we're kind of focused on. The training facility is another thing we need to solve because we need to have permanent. Now we're not even in this. We're in Marina d'Or. We have it's a temporary solution. It costs a lot of money to rent the trailers and etc. So we need some help from the city there as well. So they're both important. I don't know which one is more important. Probably La Liga 2 compliance, but aside from that, you know, they're kind of equal.
La que tenemos ahora, la ciudad deportiva que tenemos ahora funciona. Obviamente no es la ideal, pero para mí tanto el estadio como la ciudad deportiva son importantes. Tenemos que encontrar también una solución para las dos, pero la primera que tenemos que conseguir es la que nos ayude antes a conseguir el objetivo. Ahora estamos en Marina d'Or, obviamente es una solución temporal en la que hemos invertido también mucho dinero, pero tenemos que encontrar una solución a eso, que la ciudad también nos ayude y por supuesto también cumplir con las normas de la Liga 2 Compliance.
Begoña Carrasco dijo que se iban a buscar terrenos para hacer esa ciudad deportiva. ¿Cuánto tiempo piensa que va a pasar hasta que el Castellón tenga su ciudad deportiva?
How many time do you think we are going to spend looking for a new training facilities?
How much time?
Yeah.
We need land. Yeah. So we need someone to give us land. If I'm going to build a facility, I need it's something that's going to benefit the city as well. So yeah, we need to find some land that we can use at a cost-effective solution that can grow. So that when we are at a position where we can compete with the top teams in the area for academies, then we can start focusing more on that. So, yeah, we're looking now. So I think how much time, I don't know. Depends on. I haven't seen what's available. So there's some options are okay here, but not so good there. We haven't found the perfect solution yet. But I'm optimistic that they will help us find something.
Que soy optimista en que nos ayudarán a encontrar algo, porque obviamente para construir algo necesitamos tierra también tiene que ser beneficioso para la ciudad que podamos construir todo esto, y también para nosotros que estemos en una situación de competir con la academia, con los equipos top del área, de la zona, para poder también competir y crecer la cantera.
¿Está contento con la cantera? ¿Con el nivel que está ofreciendo la cantera del Castellón?
Are you happy with the B team and all the youth teams?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I think we have lots of improvement there, but everyone works really, really hard. It's important that the B team stays in this division, in this category. I think so. We have faith in Jim and the kids that are playing. So yeah, happy, sure. I think they will be happier when we're able to devote more resources to them. Now there's only so much we can do. We only have one field plus an extra field. These kids are playing on artificial turf, which isn't even safe for them in some cases. It's hard. They're traveling all over the area to try to play and work around our schedule. So I think they're doing a good job with the limited resources that have been given to them.
Estamos viendo las imágenes de los goles del amateur que ganó el Rayo Ibense.
Al final es un trabajo en progreso, todavía que queda mucho por hacer, pero todo el mundo trabaja duro allí para conseguir el objetivo. Es importante que el segundo equipo, que el filial, se mantenga en la categoría que está, que no descienda. Confío en en Jim y en los jugadores, estoy contento. Tiene unos recursos muy limitados porque, como estamos viendo en el vídeo, pues están jugando en césped artificial, que al final no es ni seguro para ellos. Tenemos 2 campos allí en Marinador, uno para que ellos entrenen, pero tienen que también viajar por dentro de Castellón para entrenar algún día. Y pues eso, son recursos limitados, y con lo que tienen, pues estoy contento, pero queremos dedicarles más recursos.
La importancia que tiene que tener la cantera en su proyecto, ¿cuál es a largo plazo?
How much important in long term is the youth teams
for the club? Porque el Castellón, cuando ha tenido grandes momentos, ha sido con mucha cantera, mucha gente de cantera, y con algún que otro fichaje bueno.
The big moments in the history of Sede Castellón is when players from youth grow to the first team, and then we pick some signings.
Well, now we're experiencing that the best players on the youth teams they go to Valencia, or they go to Villarreal, or they go to somewhere else because who wants to come play for a third division team. So the most important thing is for us to get out of the third division, get to the second division, get to the first division, and then it's more realistic to invest a lot of time and energy into we have to maintain the level we're at now with the youth and the foundation, build slowly, but we can't be so silly to think, if we invest so much money in our academy, it's going to be successful if the A team is still in the third division. It doesn't work that way. Really, it has to be in the first division, or at least in the same division as Villarreal or Valencia, depending on where they are, because we are experiencing this now already. We have some good young players on the youth team, and it's time for their contract to be renewed, and their agent is pushing them here and pushing them there, and the kid it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it's important, but we have to also be realistic. Nobody wants to go play for your youth program for a third division team when they can go play for a youth program in a first division team. That's just the reality of the situation. So the best kids in general get plucked out of our academies, no matter how good of a job we do, once they get to be good enough.
Que ahora los jugadores jóvenes pues prefieren firmar por el Valencia o por el Villarreal. Al final lo que tenemos que hacer es llegar a segunda división o a primera división, y ahí estaremos en una posición de competir con ellos más realista. Al final queremos que el B mantenga el nivel, o sea, mantenga la división. Pero bueno, ahora mismo si invertimos mucho dinero en las categorías inferiores, si el primer equipo sigue estando en la tercera categoría, pues al final los jugadores, cuando llega la hora de renovar, pues la gente les presiona a los mejores para irse a otros equipos, y siendo realistas, si puedes jugar en una cantera que está en primera división, no te vas a quedar en una cantera que está en la tercera.
But we do have some very good young kids now that one of the reasons why we left some spots open, because we think they can get more minutes with the first team, train with the first team. So there is talent there right now, even now, but again, and we would like to keep them and grow with them. So it's important to us as well, but we also have to. it's more important for the first team to be at the highest level possible, I think, in order to get the best academy possible. That makes sense.
También tenemos muy buenos jugadores ahora que están entrenando con el primer equipo, por eso también hemos dejado fichas libres porque queremos crecer con ellos. Son importantes también para nosotros, pero primero lo más importante es que el primer equipo llegue a un nivel top para luego poder también seguir mejorando con la cantera.
Hay una cosa Bien.
Estamos todo el rato hablando de promocionar a segunda, a primera, pero ¿se ha contemplado el escenario? Sí, el escenario, el Deportivo La Coruña, por ejemplo. ¿Se ha contemplado el escenario de en 4 años seguimos igual? ¿Qué sucede? ¿Se ha contemplado ese escenario? We are talking all the time about promoting to the second division or first division, and what happens if we fail? Every year we fail, like Deportivo La Coruña, for example. They are 4 years in the third division, I guess, 4 years, or something like that. And they fail every year. And have you thought about this scenario?
Yeah, of course. What happens? We just keep working until we go up. It's not like I'm not guaranteed to go up this year. Yeah.
Are you going to give up? Are you going to give up, or are you going to?
Am I going to which? Give up?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why. Why I would give up? I don't think so. I mean, of course, I don't want to keep losing money every year, but for me, it's.
Yeah, because you know perfectly better than I.
Yeah, no, I think
it's not economic, financially, is not.
No, it's not. But at the end of the day, I bought a third division team with enough budget to understand that it might not happen right away, and I'm not looking to give up. That's not really in my vocabulary. So
yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't think anyone has to worry about that. It's just we are doing everything we can to get up as soon as possible, as reasonably as possible. And the money we're spending now, that we spent this year, that people are looking at, those aren't recurring costs that will always happen. It's not like next year, if we're still in this league, our costs will go down slightly because we spent a lot on investment on players, etc. So yeah, I'm not under the assumption that we will go up immediately, but we're going to work hard until we go up. If that makes sense.
Que obviamente se ha contemplado el objetivo, pero que seguiremos trabajando juntos, o sea, trabajando duro hasta que ascendamos. No me voy a rendir, no es una palabra que esté en mi vocabulario. Obviamente no quiero seguir perdiendo dinero con el equipo en la tercera categoría, pero como he dicho, no está en mi vocabulario la palabra rendirme. Obviamente ahora parece que este año hemos gastado mucho dinero, pero porque también hemos invertido mucho en infraestructura y en jugadores, pero si el año que viene, por lo que sea, no subimos, el coste de las infraestructuras ya está hecho, entonces el coste no será el mismo.
La semana que viene es la Junta de Accionistas. ¿Cómo le explica usted le explicas tú al aficionado del Castellón que la economía del Castellón está bien? Que la gente puede estar tranquila con la economía del Castellón.
How do you explain to a fan that he can be calm with the economy of City Castellón?
I mean, I don't think it's. I think for me, words. I think I'm sure the other people who ran the club into the ground, they probably said very nice things too. Yeah. So what am I going to say? I don't think I can say anything. I think they can just judge me by the fact that I'm here every day. I'm working. People I hire are working. Everyone's working hard. We're investing. If you don't have optimism at this point in the project, with all that we've accomplished and all the stuff we've accomplished from where we were 2 years ago, then you're not an optimistic person, and you're probably nothing I say is going to change your mind. So I don't even give this energy. If that makes sense. I would say, judge me by our actions. Hope for the best, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that words aren't cheap, because they are. It's easy to talk. It's much harder to produce. So. I'll say they don't have nothing to worry about, but whether that makes them stop worrying, I doubt it, because people that worry like to worry.
No puedo decir nada, solo simplemente que estoy aquí cada día trabajando duro y con mi equipo de trabajo para conseguir un objetivo. Si alguien dice que es una persona optimista y después de todo lo que hemos conseguido en estos 2 años piensa que voy a rendirme, pues es que realmente no es una persona optimista. Simplemente quiero que se me juzgue por mis actos, y es muy fácil hablar, pero al final yo le digo a la gente que no estoy preocupada, pero si alguien se quiere preocupar, por mucho que yo le diga que no se preocupe, se va a preocupar igual.
Bueno, o a lo mejor alguien cambia.
Tiene que entender que todos los años que llevamos aquí de promesas y promesas y...
Sí. Promises, it's like a politician, it's easy to promise lots of things, you know.
But we had...
Make a nice picture of the stadium, make a nice video of what the stadium's going to look like, but it's hard to do. You have to,
we had many people here managing the club many years, and it was...
But I think the difference is I'm used to these types of investments that have a long payoff, that take time.
Makes sense.
And so I didn't come here thinking, oh, I'll buy this team, spend some money, and next year we're in Segunda. No, we're ready to. It's a process. It's, we're going to take as much time as it needs. And so.
Los cálculos que usted hace de cuándo llegaremos a. Ay, perdón.
Sí,
Perdón.
que al final.
Es que como me he entendido, yo ya me he olvidado del público. Perdón.
Sí, tranquilo. Es difícil al final hacerlo. Al final las promesas son muy fáciles de hacer, pero yo ya estoy acostumbrado a este tipo de proyectos invirtiendo a largo plazo. Yo ya sabía que venía a un sitio en el que no pensaba que iba a invertir un poco de dinero y que el año que viene estaríamos en la Liga 2. Yo ya sabía que esto necesita tiempo y que es un progreso, y es a lo que vengo, a un proyecto largo plazo.
In terms of investing money, now you are injecting capital to the club via personal loan. Are you thinking?
It's not technically a loan. It's a shareholder raise.
Yeah,
so
I know.
But it's basically coming from my own assets. So it's the same thing.
Are you thinking in a ampliación de capital increase?
Yeah, capital increase.
Are you thinking in it?
Of what? A capital increase?
Yeah, capital increase, like opening the.
Yeah. No, it's right now. I think there's roughly under 4% of the club is owned by.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And they will have to contribute capital to maintain their shares. That's just reality of business. Yeah. If I go into business with you and we're 50-50 partners and I put up $100 and you don't put up $100, you no longer have 50% anymore. So I would welcome everyone to match the financial contributions I'm making to maintain their shares. But if they don't, they will be diluted, unfortunately. And that's just the reality of business, I guess. So we have to do this in order to, this isn't a charity, we're trying to have a long-term success of the club. So everyone who wants to be a partner and participate has to match. I'm not asking them to match my work effort, but financially that's the very least they have to do.
Ahora creo que está al menos del 4% en manos de miles de personas. La realidad de las acciones es que si tú y yo tenemos un negocio de el 50-50 cada uno, si yo pongo 100.000 euros y tú no los pones, realmente no tienes el 50% del negocio ni lo vas a tener más. Al final esto no va de caridad. Obviamente no quiero que la gente haga también todo el trabajo, todas las horas de trabajo que yo hago, pero en términos financieros sí que las acciones son las acciones.
¿Conoce Sentimiento Albinegro, la asociación de pequeños accionistas Sentimiento Albinegro, y que son los que han llevado a juicio a Castelló 2005?
Do you know, like, Sentimiento Albinegro are the ones who make the trial against Castelló 2005?
Yeah, I read that, yeah.
Sí.
Que sigue Guayachit.
Sí, piensa que es importante lo que están haciendo y que ese expolio, no sé cómo se traducirá, expolio, ¿cómo se puede recuperar a través del juicio? ¿Es optimista en ese sentido? ¿Conoce la temática?
Do you think it's good the work that they are doing, and if you are like know some about the topic?
Yeah, I think if people are wronged and someone did something wrong, and someone's willing to take the time to put the effort into hold these people to judgment, I think they should be thanked for this at the very least. But like I said before, it's something that doesn't impact my day-to-day work, and I have enough things to focus on that I read about it every now and then, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm following it super closely. But I appreciate all the people who are trying to get some sort of restitution for the people who did bad, who mismanaged the club, because to me this is one of the worst things you can do to a sporting team and to a city, is to abuse the trust of the people in this manner.
Al final, si la gente hace algo mal, para mí es gratificante ver el esfuerzo que están haciendo, pero como ya he dicho antes, no es algo que tenga impacto en mi día a día. Sí que es verdad que lo aprecio mucho, porque creo que es una de las peores cosas que se le puede hacer a un club deportivo y a una ciudad, que es abusar de la confianza de la gente.
Le pregunto por el Villarreal. ¿Ya se ha leído el libro del Villarreal?
Do you read the Villarreal book?
Yeah, it's a good book. I'm being honest, they did a better job than we did, for sure. The quality was better, the photos were better, the presentation was better. They're literally in a different league than we are, in a lot of different ways. So I give them all the credit in the world. Their book was better, their team is better, I don't know what else. We're just trying over here to do the best we can.
en cuanto al libro, que han hecho un trabajo mejor que el nuestro, la portada era mejor, las fotos eran mejor, al final están en una diferente liga en todos los aspectos, y que sí que se lo ha leído.
Usted puso un tuit, no sé, creo que tenemos por ahí el tuit, porque Bob es muy activo en Twitter y eso se agradece. Thank you for write to communication for Twitter.
Fans en Twitter.
Porque está muy bien que se comunique con los aficionados. No sé, tenemos por ahí la imagen del tuit de Bob con el Villarreal. Creo que lo tenemos por ahí, ¿no? Vamos a ponerlo. No, el del tuit. El otro. Vamos a poner el otro. Bueno, este es uno. Tenemos el siguiente, que es el del derbi. Vamos a poner el del derbi, a ver cuándo se puede tener ese. A ver, compañeros, creo que teníamos el otro. Este. Dice: todos somos amigos aquí. No estoy seguro de por qué son todos tan antagónicos. Aprecio mucho el Villarreal y lo que han logrado. Gran equipo, gran historia. Sería un sueño para mí si ambos estuviéramos en la Liga 2. Cuando usted se refiere a ojalá estuviéramos con el Villarreal en la Liga 2,
No.
es el primer equipo. ¿A o B?
No, I mean, of course, you never wish for another team to suffer and to go down a level, but you know, we're here languishing in the 3rd division. We have to have some fun somehow. Yeah, let us have some fun. So yeah, it was just a joke, basically. But no, I don't. I wish them success. I hope they maintain their level of success, and we can one day get to the same level they're at, and then we can have a healthy rivalry. Right now, the only rivalry is them sending me a book and me making weird tweets because they're up here and we're down here, and I'm aware of that. So, yeah, on the one hand, it's fun to do these sorts of things. On the other hand, when we get to professional football, I'll be more presidential on Twitter. But for now, we're just trying to get over the 8 or 9 hour bus rides and all these other things that we go through to enjoy our time, make it a little more pleasant.
Que me refiero que nunca le vas a desear a ningún equipo que descienda. Al final tenemos que buscar algo gracioso estando en primera ref. Simplemente era una broma. Obviamente les deseo muchos éxitos. Sé que ellos están ahora mismo en un nivel diferente al que estamos nosotros. Obviamente cuando lleguemos a la liga profesional, pues seré más presidente en tema institucional. Pero bueno, que con autobuses de 9 horas de vuelta, pues hay que buscar cómo pasar el tiempo.
Exacto. Nos quedamos prácticamente sin tiempo. Una rápida.
¿Una? Uf, difícil.
Es que claro, me imagino lo de temas que tenemos aquí.
A mí una de las cosas que más curiosidad me han suscitado todo este tiempo es las relaciones de relationships within other clubs, maybe with, I don't know, Brighton or Union Saint-Gilloise, or maybe if you are in contact with other presidents or other owners with other clubs that you like, in terms of, I don't know-how, data, players, if you are connected with other clubs or other
No,
managers.
I think I'm friendly with the owner of Brighton because we met each other playing poker, and he's a super intelligent person, so of course I ask advice every now and then on and try to learn from him, just as I learned from Mark, who owned the Mavericks, other teams in Europe that resonate with me. I have some friends who own some teams in Italy. So no like partnerships or anything like this or sharing of any type of information, but of course you have friends and you're going to talk about things and you're going to ask them questions and hey, what was it like for you trying to get up, and do you have any pieces of advice that you might offer me and that sort of thing. So, and they've been very, very helpful in that regard. And I consider all of these people to be very, very good friends and very, very, very I would say accommodating to help me learn a little as much as possible, as quickly as possible about a new sport. He's got to translate.
Soy amigo de...
This is why it's slow.
Soy amigo del presidente del Brighton porque por temas del póker. Es una persona muy inteligente, le pregunto cosas también para aprender rápidamente. También Mark en los Mavericks, tengo amigos también en Italia. Al final no es tema de compartir trabajo ni ningún tema de patrocinio, pero al final son amigos, preguntas cosas que te pueden ayudar y sinceramente les considero buenos amigos y también me ayudan.
¿Cómo de seguro estás del ascenso este año? How much are confident about promoting this season? 100, 80, 80,
No,
70?
I think you know, now I have no control. Yeah,
Of course.
So it's the players. I'm very confident in our players that they will do whatever it takes to give us the best chance possible, as well as the coaching staff. I'm optimistic. I think for sure better than 50%, but how much more than 50%? That's for me and my math models to keep to myself. But yeah, I think it's sport. Anything can happen. But yeah, I think we're in a very good position. I think we've had, in some ways, we have a more beneficial second half of the season than the first half. If you look at just the home and away splits and who we played. So, you know, but anything can happen. So yeah, no real percentage, just better than 50%, I would say.
Sinceramente ahora no tengo control sobre eso, pero sí que tengo mucha confianza en los jugadores, igual que en el staff. Más del 50% seguro, pero no puedo decir, contando tanto con las matemáticas, no puedo decir un número mayor porque en el deporte todo puede pasar. Sí que es verdad que estamos en una posición buena y los equipos que tenemos que visitar, ahora por ejemplo ya hemos ido al campo del Málaga, al campo del Ibiza, al campo del Córdoba, refiriéndose a que la segunda parte de la liga pues, es más fácil en ese sentido, pero que no va a decir un porcentaje exacto.
¿Ha hecho cálculo de cuántos puntos va a sacar el Castellón?
How many points we need?
If you like how many the projects
How many what?
the project
Yeah.
of the points that we can achieve.
Yeah. I share this only with Oscar. It's a secret.
Secret.
Que sí que lo ha compartido con Oscar, pero que es un secreto.
Ok. Bueno. Oscar is happy in Castellón?
Super happy. Super happy. He likes the attention for sure.
Y si Oscar está feliz, nosotros estamos felices. Todos estamos felices.
He said that if Oscar is happy, they are happy too.
Yeah.
We just want to say, I just want to say thank you for coming, and like 8 or 10 years ago, we didn't know if the next season we would compete the next season. So I don't mind if we promote or we don't mind, we the fans don't mind if we promote or we win. We guarantee that next season we are going to compete, we are going to exist. So thank you for saving us from the disaster.
No, you're welcome. I appreciate that. No, yeah, it means a lot to me, honestly, because I can see that people that are saying these things, they're very sincere. And so we're just working as hard as we can. I also want to thank everyone for all of the support, because I mean, we can talk about this a lot, but it really does have an impact on the players and the opponents when the stadium is filled. It gives us a real advantage. You know, if we lose to a team that gets 3,500 people to their games, and we have the ability to fill 15,000 and we don't because people don't want to show up, it'll be a real big disappointment. So I want to thank everyone for accepting me and the people I work with, who are all not from Spain, have yet to learn the language, are kind of new here. I appreciate everyone who's been very kind to me, because I haven't encountered anyone who hasn't been absolutely anything but thankful and kind, and I appreciate that a lot. So happy to be here, truly.
Que de nada, que lo aprecio mucho, significa mucho para mí que la gente sea sincera. También quiero agradecer de corazón a todos el apoyo por el impacto que tiene en el equipo, porque realmente es una ventaja contra el rival cuando jugamos en Castalia con 15.000 personas. Gracias por aceptarme a mí, a una persona de fuera que todavía no habla la lengua. Lo aprecio mucho, la gente es muy educada conmigo y de verdad que lo aprecio.
Yo espero que el próximo día, this is the celebration de last, el último ascenso.
The last time that we grew up.
Very cool.
Espero que allí nos digas algo en castellano.
He expect if we make this in May that you say something in Spanish.
Okay.
It's very, very pretty.
Are you learning Spanish?
Yes, but I made a promise also to a family member to be fluent in Greek. So the last little while I've been focusing on Greek, and it's difficult to every time I think of a word that's not English, I first go through Greek, French, and then Spanish. So it's tricky. It's harder. Yeah, but I can understand almost everything, especially most of the football terms. I just don't feel comfortable speaking it, because I think the words are very important, and how I express myself is very important, and so I don't want to be misinterpreted or misconstrued. So,
Makes sense.
But yeah, patience. I guess I need to be better at it. So I need to spend more time on it, I think, and then it'll help. But for now, malo. Muy malo.
Muy malo.
Muy malo.
Bueno, hice una promesa también con mi familia que tenía que seguir con griego, Tengo el griego, el francés y el español, entonces en términos de español sí que entiendo casi todo, pero a la hora de hablar no quiero que se me malinterprete. Entonces, pues nada, paciencia y más tiempo y al final mejorará.
A mí me pasa una cosa parecida. O sea, en castellano-valenciano me hago de entender, pero que en inglés me da mucha vergüenza. Y lo entiendo, pero me da la vergoñeta, qué bueno que vos diga. Tenemos una sección que es Va de Bob.
Claro.
¿Te gusta?
Sí.
¿Sí, te gusta? Vamos a poner la ráfaga porque a mí me encanta la rafaguita. Va de Bob. Me encanta. ¿Te gusta la sección? Porque, claro...
Sometimes.
¿Sí?
Yeah. Sometimes I watch.
Que a veces lo ve.
Sí, pero te gusta, ¿no? A mí cada vez que escribes en Twitter, me gusta porque tengo material para Va de Bob.
Big part of the show.
Está chulo, está bien, está bien. Vale, eso. Y bueno, si te sigue gustando, seguiremos haciéndolo. Eso es bueno. Tengo un vídeo de Alejandro Moy rápido sobre las mascotas que había dicho que lo voy a poner y quiero ponerlo rápidamente. El vídeo de Alejandro Moy, una pregunta de Alejandro Moy, rápida.
Hola Bob, tengo una pregunta para ti. ¿Tenéis pensado impulsar una mascota vinegra? Yo aquí en casa ya tengo a Oreyud y a Oreyuda. Pam pam Oreyud.
He's saying if we are going to have a mascot, like all the teams in football, in the future.
No.
¿No? No. Se acabó, está claro. Bueno, Bob, para mí es un placer que hayas estado aquí, me encanta, que espero que vuelvas otra vez, o aquí o en otro emplazamiento, y que para mí es un orgullo que la primera entrevista la hagamos aquí en Televisión de Castellón, en La Tribuna, que es el programa decano que Rafa también llevó en su día, y la verdad que solo puedo decirte que gracias por venir y por estar en el Castelló.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Que ho ha disfrutat molt i que moltes gràcies.
Bueno, i a Marc també li tenen que donar les gràcies, perquè Marc ha fet un treball brutal. Bueno, siempre está Marc haciendo un trabajo sensacional. Nos tenemos que marchar. Es un crack, un crack. Bueno, él, Iván, etcétera, etcétera. Es brutal. Bob, muchísimas gracias y que tus deseos se cumplan porque serán los nuestros.
Okay. Yeah.
Gracias. Gracias a Bob, gracias Marc.
Gràcies, Alexis.
Gràcies Guillermo, gràcies Rafa, gràcies a tots vosaltres. Vos esperem la setmana que ve. Sé que tenim coses de la Pedrera, del que va guanyar l'Amateur 2-0, que el femení continua empatant, que va guanyar també el juvenil. La setmana que ve, més i millor. Per cert, ara vos quedeu en el documental d'Albinegres, el documental del centenari del Castelló, perquè el gaudiu, perquè xaleu.